the show. It's just rambling chat at the start.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's all good.
Oh, man, speaking of, I just realized my lights are too bright. People
Yeah,
can
it
see
looks
me
horrible.
too clearly. Oh, which one's this one? This one?
It's the Kmart lights that are doing it.
That's
All right,
the
we're
hue
ready
ones.
to go.
We are ready to
Mike,
go.
are you ready?
Nice. I am ready.
All right, I'm going to put myself on mute.
But I'd like to know why this doesn't turn off.
Wait, Mike, what are we doing?
We are on.
Are you ready to go, Mike?
I'm ready to go, baby.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Wait. Hello, everyone. Sorry. Whoa, shit. Go, Swinny. Hello.
What are you doing to me, buddy?
This is the show start, by the way.
Welcome to the Big Week in Gaming podcast. And what do you know? It's been a big week in gaming. I'm Swinny for episode 105 for this Sunday, the 20th of November, 2022. What are we talking about this week? We're talking about the nominees for the Game Awards. Game of the Year and everything in between. We're covering Bethesda responding to Mick Gordon's pipe bomb letter from last week about the Doom Eternal soundtrack. And we have impressions of Obsidian's unique mystery adventure title, Pentiment. If you'd like to support the show, we'd love to get you to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. If you're a mega fan, come join us on the Discord. All the links are in the description below or at bigweekpod.com. Joining us today, we have our executive producer, integot.
Hello.
And back on the show, we have Mike.
Hello. Finally, I'm back and alive. Barely, but here I am. Pipe bomb. You dropped the pipe bomb word. Probably too early in the stream to be dropping those kind of words, but that didn't make me think of Doom. It made me think of Duke Nukem. Hello, Joe.
So you're
Duke
clearly
Nukem
not a
fan.
wrestling fan, so
Strike
I'll
us.
move past that.
Strike us if you dare, YouTube. I dare you, YouTube.
I am.
We'll just go to Twitter. Elon won't ban us.
Well, speaking of, I think this is the last time we'll stream on Twitch and Twitter, isn't it? It's all YouTube from now on.
That's
So,
correct.
damn.
We've got an exclusive deal with YouTube. We get 4x the ad revenue, which is the true statement.
As in the beer brand?
Yes.
No, I wasn't thinking that. Is that? Yeah. Okay. No, I wasn't thinking that. And we're constantly knocking back these NFT offers to
know, what a
advertise
What a shame.
all these. I was gonna say the company that was trying to get us to advertise, but then I'm thinking, wait a second, we are then advertising. They're getting no money.
Just telling people they exist is promotion enough for them.
That's true. That's
Exactly.
true. So yes, we are switching full to YouTube. So we have to update the thing at the bottom, Mike, to just say get to YouTube. Don't worry about anything else.
Get your ass to YouTube. Nothing.
Exactly.
We'll just scratch
We
them
live
out.
on YouTube.
We also have some hype. So next week, I've penciled it for next week. We could do it the show after, but
I reckon we should do it the show after because it's closer.
well, it's more just I just want to make sure it's a show where all three of us.
Oh wow! Look at the slight. Look at the.
No, it's fair. That's fair. I have been absent for 2 weeks.
We
so-
will.
Should we say the behind the scenes stuff, Mike? That it's when he's like, "Oh, what happened, man?" And then he's like, "All right, let's get on with the show. I don't want to really hear your life story."
He's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I've been depressed."
Look, it does make sense to do it.
All right, let's just move on.
It does make sense to do it the show leading in. I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Oh, but you're nervous. Maybe we should record it and then we can stitch it in if Mike disappears.
Or
Mike,
if Mike's not there, he'll have to mail in his predictions.
yeah, no, we said this. I know you don't watch the show when you're not on it, but that makes it sound like you watch it if you are on it, but if you're not on it, you don't. It's like you watch it back.
I never
Okay,
look
yeah.
back at anything I've done.
I asked
ever.
on the show, so you definitely didn't hear this because I think you would have created this if you heard it. We want you to create a mic puppet.
A mic puppet.
Even
Okay.
better if there's two, but at least one.
Wait, why two? Why two mic
Well,
puppets?
because we are in physically different locations. So then
Okay.
I can put my hand up and go, "Hey, I'm Mike. This is what I
Okay.
think.
All right.
Pokemon
Okay.
shit." Like stuff like
Very
that.
well said. Sounds exactly like something I'd say.
I'm boycotting this company. Tomorrow I'm gonna buy that.
I am a man of principle. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That would be
exactly.
awesome if you make it
Okay.
like a puppet.
Cool. I'll make you. I'll make you one for Christmas.
Well, that's just ruined it now.
Why?
I've already got some stuff in train for Christmas.
Really?
For the big wig Christmas stuff, yeah.
Oh, I thought just for me, like presents and stuff. But I don't feel like I deserve any.
No, it's a lump of coal.
You
Anyway.
deserve everything in the world,
I
Mike.
could turn the lamp.
Oh, look at that. What a sweet
I don't know.
statement.
Thanks,
But
Swinny.
with no meaning, no real meaning behind it, no genuine.
And
He's like, you deserve everything, Mike. Let's move on with the show now.
I see there's also last minute edition of a question of the week here.
Was it?
Yes, Integot, I think you were telling me about this the other week, and I thought you would bring it up on the show.
Oh, yeah. But we answered it, though, right?
Oh, yeah. We were going to get Mike to answer it, remember? And
Oh,
we
yeah.
predicted what he would say. So we were going to pretend that we didn't already cover this on the show because he doesn't listen.
Okay.
That's true. But wait, so do you remember what you predicted? I remember what I predicted.
Yes, I remember what I predicted.
Okay. I don't remember what you predicted, actually, but okay.
Okay.
It will jog
All
my
right.
memory.
Mike, if you could erase the memory of one game you've played to then experience it for the first time again,
Good question.
what would it be?
What
To
game would it
experience
be?
it for the first time again, not
Yes.
because it's completely altered the rest of my future. having played it.
No,
He's gone so
Had I
deep.
not played it,
This
my
is so
entire,
Mike. This is.
my
I should have
entire
answered
life would have
this.
been completely different. Okay.
My answer
Man,
should
I
have
don't
been.
know.
I'll be a minimalist.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be a minimalist. I wish.
What game?
What
game?
Man, I don't know. What I'm trying to think something that it'd have to be something recent, I suppose. Honestly, I don't know.
anything.
Look, so the reason I'm struggling to say this is because
you didn't have any notice.
No, because
didn't have notice.
right game at the right time. I can't if I try to play so for example, if I try to play an older game now, it doesn't work the same way. Whether I played it or not. If I played it, I'm like, nostalgia. It's not really the game I remember. And if I haven't played it,
Just
I'm
pick a
like,
goddamn game.
I don't really have one. But I bet one of you said Sextress.
No, well, we
so-
said that as a joke, I think.
Yeah, I said that as a joke.
No, wait, don't tell. Just say a serious game. Just pick one. Go, quick.
I don't know, like Mass Effect.
Yeah!
He wins.
Yes, baby. That's crazy.
Nice.
Nice work.
Why did you guess, Swinny?
I said Fallout. The
Oh,
first
but
Fallout.
that was
I thought you
another
said
thing
Dead
in my
Space.
brain.
Did you say Fallout?
No, I said
No,
Fallout.
Fallout would have
okay.
been also in my brain. Yeah.
The only thing is, it's what
I
you
got too
said. It's
excited.
like
I'm so
it's-
competitive.
yeah.
starting an older game for the first time is very different than like Mass Effect 1 is obviously way newer than Fallout, you know. So
And
Although
well
I feel
done,
like
Integot,
the
you
original
got it right.
Fallout would still probably hold better than the original Mass Effect.
They should remake that, the original Fallout.
I feel like I don't listen on this show. I've said
I
it
want
probably
the
like
Mike Suck
10
puppet.
times. I've said it 10 times that they lost the source code, so they can't.
Yeah, but they could just remake
They
it.
should
What do you mean? They
remake
could
it,
just
but they
remake
can't.
it.
Well, I suppose they could just do it 100%.
What are you talking
well,
about?
yeah, you remake it, you're not like remastering.
No, I said
Sorry.
like remastering. Okay, fucking remaster, remake.
The crazy part, right? Not only does the Fallout IP now sits under the same house as Brian Fargo, who was headed up the original Fallout, who's in Exile Entertainment. So they've got the original guy if he wanted to actually do it, as well
Which
as
he
obviously Bethesda. So
Man, I'm so excited that I got Mass Effect correct. That was
well done.
I get very competitive. You could see my genuine reaction.
There was.
All right, well,
All right.
Sorry, Swinny.
what have we been up to this week? Kicking off, Integot, what have you been doing?
Yes, so I played a little bit of a Plague Tale Requiem. Not the game for me, that's for sure. And I'm actually really surprised. I don't know, I didn't get very far into it. But I was like, wow, this is a game of the year. Like, this is a pretty weird year. Like, to be fair, I'm not a massive stealth fan. But even, like, from the start, the way that the mocap and the performances... Like, I think the vocal performance is pretty decent. But the characters themselves feel very stiff. And, like, PS3, PS4-y. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel... I don't look, and to be fair, I've played Ragnarok recently, Horizon, like all these other games. They just shit all over Requiem in terms of just like, the character capture and everything like that. So I
I
deleted
played
that.
one of the best looking games of all time. Everything
Yeah.
else is shit.
Well, no,
Basically.
but it's Game of the Year nominee, so
No, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
and then
But the first one did look really good, didn't it? I mean,
Well, it
I
looks
haven't played
good.
Requiem, but the first one I thought looked really, really good.
yeah, like the game looks good. I was playing it on PC, but it's more just like the way the characters are captured. If you go watch it on YouTube, you can see they're a bit like dead, dead mannequin style stuff.
Well, they are dead because
In the
this is
game-
based in like the 1700s.
In the
isn't it? So
game's
they'd be dead by
defense,
now.
I mean, we're
1500s,
talking a very different budget and
sure.
size of team versus Santa Monica, But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
It's just that it feels like that's a huge component of the game. Like the game constantly slows you down and forces you to like kind of like play the cutscene in a way. Anyway, not for me. Pentiment, I'll chat about a little bit later because someone else might be playing that. God of War Ragnarok. Man, I have to say, like, this game is a bit funny to me. Like, I got to play it a lot longer, but the immersion factor of this game, maybe it's just giving me the shits a lot more recently. This game, it's so on rails, like at least where I'm up to. It probably opens up a little bit later, but, you get up to spots where it's like, oh, I can't climb up something. And it, to me, is like the old school, like PS2 problem, where it's like a little gate. Oh, because there's a gate there, I can't get through, so I need to go do something else. And I'm like, I'm fucking Kratos. I'm a god, and I can't like move a twig. Like, and yet, right the next scene, I'm moving a boulder. It's I don't know, man. I was playing it, and it was kind of irking me. And then I did say this last week, but it keeps happening. Like, I can't shut the fucking characters up. Like, you go around a little bit and they're like, hey, Dad, look up here. Oh, look over there. Oh, what do you think if we just, duck down here? And I'm like, why am I even playing this? Like, the game is just not allowed. Like, the juxtaposition of this versus, like, Elden Ring is so incredible. It's like that game just almost tells you nothing. It's like a puzzle, right? Whereas this is just, like, trying to solve everything for you. So,
and there's no turn hints off.
No, there is no system to do that. Dude, I wish there was. Like, I would fucking do that. I'm actually, like, this is so weird. I'm actually at a point where I'm like, do I just want to switch this to easy mode or something? Because it's kind of just gives me the shits anyway.
I actually have a feeling they will probably put that in at some point because it's been one of the biggest criticisms of the game.
Oh, really? Has
it? Considering
okay.
that it has all these other accessibility options, I think it would be a relatively easy update for them that would then win back people on the game.
Would this be reverse accessibility? You know what I mean?
But it's accessibility. That's what it means.
Yes. But I feel like it's reverse accessibility.
It's like reverse racism.
I mean, it's just...
There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
I know.
It's like, okay, turn the tutorial hints off, It's that kind of option. It's basically just a quality of life option to experience the game.
Don't make me feel dumb.
The way you want to. So, yeah.
See, Mike already comes on.
I have a feeling they will add that on.
Mike already comes on with quality titles, like title contenders, reverse accessibility. He's already like straight away. This is the value add, Mike. Look, it's actually a problem to me with first party Sony games. Like, they're constantly in your ear about it. Like, Horizon's way worse. Horizon's like, you can't spend 2 minutes and then they're constantly just trying to tell you how to solve the puzzle. And it's actually worse because it's Aloy saying it. It's like so immersion breaking.
Maybe
like,
I am
Aloy.
do this.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I saw something back there. Maybe I should check that out. And I'm like,
maybe you should
fucking game. Shut the fuck up. Like, it just makes me feel like it's a game. I don't know. It really bugs me, that shit. I didn't know that people were criticizing that element, apart from that Mark Brown Game Maker Toolkit video that I sent you. Other than that, playing my Picross and Splatoon 3. I only wanted to mention it because I ranked up. So I'm like A rank now. I do realize I am beating like probably 6 and 7 year olds. But I'm addicted to this game. This is like the new Rocket League for me. I love this game so much, man.
So I quickly looked at what you'd written because I was writing like the intro description for the show, right? And I was going to make a joke about Splatoon 3 Picross, and I looked across and I couldn't see it at first. I'm like, wait, he's not going to mention them. And then I noticed he put it last. I'm like, yeah,
that's the closer. That's the closer.
Of course he would. Would you say you're maybe ever so slightly, what's the word for it?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
To Splatoon 3.
Someone playing something casually doesn't mean addiction.
I don't know if it's casual, man. I don't know if it's casual.
No.
Like, how often would you play it? How many hours a day?
How many hours?
And is it every day?
So
well,
Mike,
actually, when I think about when they came out versus how many hours I put into it,
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
It's probably like an
Mike,
hour or two a day.
I have a question for you. Like, do you always have to be playing something new to then not be considered addicted to something? Because that's what he's just playing. He's playing new stuff, but then he's just playing his regulars.
No, totally. It's just that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying this as a judgy or anything like that. I just think if I was playing the same game for like 3 months, 2-3 hours a day, I would personally feel like I'm addicted to it. That's just me.
I don't know,
Again,
but that
that's just me.
logic makes no sense to me because it's like whether I'm playing a new game or an old game or an existing game, right? If I'm spending the same amount of time playing them, so I'm not playing games like 6, 7 hours
No, but then you're
a
just
day,
like
right?
addicted to
Not
playing
like me.
multiple games. But I'm saying,
But it's not-
specifically being addicted to one thing.
But it's definitely not what the definition of an addiction is, even on a simplistic level. An addiction is something that interferes with your life, like your home life,
Well-
your friends, or
You
know,
reckon
doing other
2-3
things.
hours a day doesn't interfere with your life, though?
No, not at all. I'll explain
Okay.
why I'm playing Splatoon so much. Number one, it's a great game. It's my personal game of the year, right? But work, and I don't want to dox myself, but work has been super intense recently, right? And it's just nice to play something where it's like, it's not completely like switching my brain off, but it's using different skills, right? So it's like, I don't have to think, I don't have to problem solve, I don't have to listen to some shit story because video
your
game
kids.
stories are crap. No, video game stories. Kids' books
Yeah.
are more well written than these video game stories. But yeah, like it exercises a different thing. It's competitive, so it's like relaxing. That's the whole point of it, right?
It's
Not
downtime.
playing. Exactly.
No,
exactly.
and I totally
Rather
get
than
it.
watching
And again,
Netflix or whatever.
I'm not judging or anything. I just
Or you are, but that's okay.
Oh, well, no, I'm not. I'm not because I do that and I've done that too. I just
I
Don't
think
you say you're
at
addicted?
what point do you go, if I spend 3
I think
hours
it's
a
like-
day on a
I'm
particular
not
thing
playing 3 hours a day.
instead of, I don't know, spending time with my kids or something, am I maybe slightly addicted to it?
All right, I think that's
I
getting
don't
in
know.
a,
No.
that's
I'm
getting
just
in a
saying.
direction.
I'm just
that
saying.
is
I need
very
to address this.
judgmental.
I love how it's like literally judgmental. Number one, it's definitely not. I'm not playing games when my kids are awake. Like they're already asleep, so I'm playing it after hours, right? So you wouldn't want your kid awake past 8, 9 p.m., right?
I'm not saying I've seen you at 6, 7 p.m. playing that game or anything like that when I went to my friends list on the Switch.
But that also might be an occasion when my kids are going and doing something, right?
Yeah, not doing something like not spending time with their daddy.
Well, they don't spend 24/7.
I kid, all right,
anyway.
Jesus.
I kid.
I kid.
I kid, no
I
pun
kid, I
intended. I kid.
He's like what's that? The insult comic dog. I can't remember the name.
Triumph.
Triumph. That's
Triumph,
right.
that's
Triumph.
it.
I kid. You lose a dad. Yeah. So
One of these
anyway,
buttons cause your parents to pick
going
you
back
up.
to Splatoon 3. So yes, very enjoyable game. And I didn't put this in the run sheet, Swinny, but there is a new season coming out for Splatoon 3 in December. And I'm very excited. There's a new mode called Big Run, which is the salmon run mode that we don't really know the full details of. So yeah, it's cool. Really enjoying the game. Highly recommend it.
Oh, and Picross? You just Picrossing along?
Just Picrossing as always, man. Just
Picrossing
Picrossing
as
as always.
Mike, what have you been up to?
So I only played a couple of games. One of them is The Mummy Demastered, which is effectively a Metroidvania style kind of game. It's based off the movies, as far as I understand. As a licensed
The
kind
Tom
of product.
Cruise. The Tom Cruise.
Yes,
Well,
but
box
it's
office
actually a really
bomb.
good, solid game in its own right. If it wasn't, labeled as a movie kind of game, it's not your typical, oh god, here we go. They're just trying to like turn something out just to get a bit of extra bucks. It's actually really good. Like the gameplay so far has been really, really good. Typical Metroidvania style in every single aspect so far. And I've quite enjoyed it. It's on well, it wasn't special, I think last time I mentioned it to you guys. I don't know if it's on special anymore.
3 weeks ago. I think
3
it's on
weeks ago,
special.
yeah. It'll come again, but it was one of those games that I didn't see on special for a while, so I haven't seen on Deku deals what the graph looks like. I haven't seen it dead regularly on special. And the other game was Return to Monkey Island, so I dabbled a bit in that. I had my reservations about the art style and stuff like that, like other people did. Having played the game now, I think it's actually really cool. Quite enjoy the art style. It's still maybe not quite what I like from an art/design perspective, but at the same time, it works pretty well. And once you start playing, you don't even kind of really think about that kind of stuff. Humor is really good so far. I haven't really encountered any major puzzles that I got stuck on or anything, but yeah, really enjoying it so far.
What do you think about the interface in this? The way that it creates like the circles of the things you can interact with and things like that?
Circles.
There's like circles all over the screen that shows you what you interact with.
I've never seen that.
Oh, okay.
Do you have to press a button or something? I'm playing on PC.
Okay, maybe it doesn't show up on PC. That's
maybe.
interesting. Maybe
No,
that's
no
a
circles.
console-specific thing. So.
There's probably a button on PC that I can press to do that. There are in some modern games, but nothing. I have to just move the mouse around the screen and click on stuff. It comes up on the screen as with like on PC. It comes on the screen with like if you hover above it, it's got an arrow and then it's got a little dialogue with like a left click, and sometimes you can use a right click depending on whether it's two actions. So I guess the interface is different. I got to check it out on console. Actually, I'd be curious because it is a vastly different way of running or playing a game like that.
The reason I ask is I did play that this week as well. I actually finished it.
Ooh, nice.
And it took me a bit to get used to that. So that's why I was keen to know. But yeah, look, I just out of interest, like if you check that out on console,
I'd be
get
keen
like
to
get
see
your opinion on it. So
because I might try both anyway. Because I mean, I assume you can carry across with the cloud save across both of them.
Hopefully, yeah.
But yeah, no, really good. What have you been playing?
I might as well keep talking about Monkey Island then. So I talked about it a bit last week that I was quite enjoying it. Again, like the interface took me a little bit, but once you get used to that stuff, it's not the big issue. Part of me does. I might actually do a replay because there's some stuff I missed, and I might do that on PC actually, just to get that experience. But yeah,
like the cards and stuff, or
telling
everyone you.
There's the trivia cards, but there's also a bunch of like extra little things that you can miss out on if you're playing it blind. And I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that. So I kind of, and once you know the solutions to the puzzles, the game would be a breeze to get through as well. But
worth noting, did you speak about last week about it being there's a normal mode and a hard mode? I believe you played in the hard mode too.
I didn't talk about that because I didn't try the easier mode, so I couldn't really talk to it. So I don't know what it actually changes, because the normal mode, which is basically just like a normal point and click game, like the puzzles in this game are probably on the easier side compared to other Monkey Island games. But that's not a bad thing. But I did mention that there's a really neat hint system that has no, and if you use the hint system, there's no repercussions. It doesn't there's no penalty at all.
No achievement penalty or anything like that.
And what's really good about it, there was a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try this out. I got stuck on something. It kind of it's almost like Professor Layton in a way. Professor Layton, I know you had to spend money, but you don't have to do that in this, where it's like it gives you one hint, then it goes just to kind of like spur you to the next thing, but it doesn't tell you the solution, but you can keep clicking through if you're like, okay, I've tried that. But yeah, it's really, really cool. I really hope they make another one, to be honest, Awesome. Like this, I hope this one does well. And it means that, that LucasArts and hopefully Ron Gilbert would team up together for another one, because I think it'd be really cool. So, Well, in terms of other things I've been playing, a game I wasn't expecting to go back to this week, but boy did I go back to it, which is Vampire Survivors. So they added Vampire Survivors to console, Xbox Game Pass, like 2 weeks ago. And I said, I'm just going to try it out on console. And I also wanted to confirm if it carried your save progress over from the PC version, and it actually does. I actually assumed it might not, so good on them for actually making that happen.
Can I just say that in this whole discussion and the way you're framing this, can we just replace the word Vampire Survivors with heroin? And I think that would be I'll just install it, just try it, just see how it go. Just one shot. I can see how this is going to go.
Oh, I'm glad I got all the injections that I used to have before. They've carried over to this one.
So if anyone doesn't know what heroin is, then I'll...
We're really going to get a strike in this episode.
Look, Vampire Survivors, I played it a lot when it was put first on early access or whatever they call it on PC Game Pass, but now it's a full release. So I'm actually glad I waited to go back to it, because now the game is has a lot to it. And once you kind of understand the meta part of the game, and there's actually so many hidden secrets and 4-4 breaking stuff and really cool shit going on in that game, that's really wild. And I actually played it so much this week that I actually completed the whole thing. I actually found all the unlockable stuff. I got all 140 bloody achievements. I beat the last boss, which I didn't even know there was a last boss.
Jesus.
And it was really, really cool. So really worth trying out if you've got Game Pass, just to give it a shot. And it's
Word,
so
man. Heroin.
it is so absolutely absurd.
So
But once you start understanding, like as I said, those meta elements and also like the optimal builds and things, it's really, really cool. So
This game's really fascinating because, like, I've seen some commentary around Game Awards, and some people going so hard on it's ridiculous that Vampire Survivors is not represented at all. I don't believe we'll get to it, but from memory, I don't think it's even in the indie category.
there's one. It's nominated for one thing, which I think is indie debut.
Sure, but like,
Deserves a lot more than that.
all I'm saying is, like, I know that some people really, really love this game a lot. So yeah, it's interesting.
You're gonna see. People are going to be surprised, I think, how many outlets are probably going to choose this, because it is just, I think it's just enough people. No, for Game of the Year. Like, I think there will be it'll surprise people. No, I'm not saying it's going to get heaps, but I think it will still surprise people.
Yeah. There's always the bullshit publication that almost as a contrarian goes, let's pick a game as Game of the Year to, like, stir people up as well. So, like, this one, Stray, will be another one. Although that is one of the... Yeah, we'll get to that shortly.
But I feel like this one... I mean, what makes a Game of the Year a Game of the Year? I think it's not just because it's flashy and it's... Mind you, this is kind of flashy in its own way, if you know what I mean. It's... Do a lot of people play it? Is it a really good game? Is it well rated? Is it something that has had a broad reach that a lot of people know about it? Is it fun, etc.? So I think it deserves to be nominated for a lot more stuff.
It is a really interesting question, and it brings up the whole, like, does a Game of the Year need to be a AAA level kind of game?
Definitely don't.
Versus a game that is developed by a small handful of people and has graphics that wouldn't be out of place on in 1998 on PC. Well, actually, way earlier than that.
Like 92. But one thing that I will say is, what game will be remembered more in 10 years? Vampire Survivors or A Plague Tale Requiem?
Ooh, I don't know. I haven't played either.
I reckon I would put my money on Vampire Survivors.
Probably Vampire Survivors.
I reckon I'll see more YouTube
classic type of games. Yeah. But you know what? Like, I think if I think of Game of the Year for me personally, and I don't think any mainstream publisher is going to pick this one, I reckon it's Tinykin. I freaking love that game.
Well, we've got our whole next segment is about this, so I'll just cover the last thing before we jump into that, which is Pentiment, the new Obsidian game that actually came out this week. And had a lot of people talking. Shockingly high reviews as well. Like, I wasn't expecting like the amount of critical kind of praise this game was getting, and so I jumped into the game.
Can I just add my 2 cents? Like, because I played this, but I don't have that much to say about it. I think you forgot that I said I wanted to jump in.
No. I was gonna jump to you after.
I don't have much to say apart from, like, I'm so glad this game exists. This game is not for me, right? But it is one of those games where I'm like, wow, this is like really cool. I'm like, this to me, I'm one of the biggest people who shits on Game Pass all the time, right? I do believe this game only exists because of Game Pass. I do believe that, right? It feels like a AAA, like, fucking fever dream, right, of a game. It's super, super cool. I've played a bit of it, and I'm like, definitely the theme and setting and everything like that, it's not for me. But I actually enjoyed what I played of it, but I'm like, I don't need to play more of this. But that's all I wanted to say, Swinny.
Yeah, no, and what I was going to say is basically, for a lot of people, you play the first, like, half an hour of this game, and, like, I'm like, man, what is this game? Like, I couldn't really understand in my head how, like, immediately how praised it was as well, because it's such a slow burn. Like, it is basically dialogue box after dialogue box after dialogue box, and it's all locked down at the start, so, it leads you on a path to get to, like, the first main thing. And then, like, if you're not put off by that, and a lot of people are, that's why there's a lot of people out there saying, like, what the fuck is this game, right? But once you get past that slow burn, and that slow burn does become important why it's done that way, but it really got my hooks into me, and I've played it quite a bit. I'm quite far into Act 2, and Act 1 was quite long. And it's just, as you said, it's really cool. Like, anyone that doesn't like a lot of reading games is immediately not going to like this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's not for you. That's what this game is. It's an adventure game there's a lot of people out there that were initially saying, oh, Obsidian's new RPG. This is not a role-playing game in any way. The closest this is that you choose like a background for your character and things like that then influences the dialogue options you get. And it's not even like Disco Elysium or stuff like that where there's like actual dice roll elements to it. The way that stuff plays in is if you make player choices throughout the game, it will then impact certain moments where you have to persuade someone, for instance. And depending on how you've treated them and how you responded to them, it will fill up like a little bar, and you can see the choices that influenced it. And that's pretty much it so far. That and unless there's like turn-based battles come out of nowhere towards the end of the game, I think that's it for the game. But it's really, really unique, and it's actually quite funny and wholesome at times. But it's just got this air of mystery about it, and it's such a unique setting. It's like early modern age. Like there's no games that are set in early modern age Bavaria. Like
Germany, I know it's crazy.
Yeah,
what we know is Germany now, I should say. But
yeah, it's really wild, and for me, it's like just learning the characters. Like you get to know every single character in the whole village and the whole abbey and everything. And for someone that's also like, I'm not religious in any way, and the game is very like it's all about religion and things in Christianity, and it's kind of interesting to play through a game that explores that side of things that I have zero interest in, but it's like you're learning a lot as well as you're playing it. And that sounds boring, but it's actually it feeds into the way the game is. But
yeah, I was googling stuff as well. I also shit on games for being. Another thing I shit on is like stories and writing being crap, right? This is so well written. Like I had a smirk on my face. I was like, I was going down like the dark path of like a character. Mike, I think you'd actually really like this game. Like it's really unique and different and like weird. And did you? I don't like. Is this PC only or is this on Xbox as well?
It's on console and PC.
Okay.
And the last thing I'll say about the game, because I'll probably talk a bit more about it when I complete it, is there's an option to turn the fonts into an easier to read font, right? And initially I turned that on. I'm like, oh, this is so much easier to read the font in the game. But I actually switched it back on to really play a bit more like that. And I'm glad I did, because it adds a lot of character to the actual story. So you'll see like lower class characters, like farmers and things will have a different font than like the people in the abbey that are much more educated and everything, and people will make like typos and then replace the letters and things like that. It's really, really unique, but you can switch it to an easy to read font if you have issues or you're playing on a smaller TV or something. So
yeah, it's a really cool game. Like
I
don't know how to how I don't kind of like that era, Swinny, and like anything that's too fantasy, or I know it's not fantasy, but I don't know. I feel like if it was in a different setting, I'd play through a lot more of it, but it's a very, very unique and cool game.
Yeah, if it goes well, like, this style of game, I could see Obsidian going, we want to do something in a different setting, so maybe they'd do something different.
Unless I stuffed up something. I mean, there's no VO or anything as well in this game, which I thought was like unique.
It is unique in a way. And some people like, I'm not playing this game because it doesn't have voiceover.
Oh, really? People do that? Holy shit.
Wow.
That's why I said, like, the actual written text is actually really important to the game design.
Yeah.
In saying that, I do wish they added a way to like instantly load the text. Like sometimes it can take a while if you're reading faster than the text loads.
That's true.
There's some quality of life stuff I think they can add to the game, but I'm really enjoying it. It's not for everyone. So try it out if you've got Game Pass, and
I definitely will.
I will just say, just give it a little bit. It is a slow burn. So
yeah, I think like those kind of games, they go like. I will always argue though, you really need to get the first hour right in a game. Like even if games are like, because I've reflected a lot about this. I think Tunic's first hour doesn't do the game justice. And I could imagine people playing it and just going, and just bouncing off it. And I could see this happening with this game as well.
Well, it's a year for it. Look at the other big Game Pass release recently, Scorn. Like that screwed the first hour up, so... Yeah,
I don't know why, like, it's kind of an extremely arrogant thing for devs to do. It's almost like, I think if you're like a Dark Souls, you have earned it. So it's like, we're going to be super cryptic. Here's Dark Souls 4. People are just going to accept it. Like, I'm willing to push through, right? But if it's something new, and especially Game Pass, when you're not paying for it in a lot of ways, like, you know what I mean by that? It's part of the subscription. It's like, I'd imagine a lot of people bounce off it, but it's very cool, Mike. You got to try it. I really think you got to try it.
100% I will, yeah.
Oh, well, that's it for what we've been playing this week. So on to the news. So this week, Geoff Keighley announced the nominees for the Game Awards 2022. So we'll cover the Game of Year, nominees in a bit more detail. There's obviously a lot of categories. When we go do our predictions, that'll be when we probably cover that stuff more in detail. There's a couple of things I want to mention outside within the other categories, but Game of the Year. So the 6 nominees, and we put our predictions in last week for this. So let's see how we went. So the 6 nominees are A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So, Integot, how do we go on our predictions?
Oh, very well. Like, I think you and I... So, Mike, I don't know if you know, but Swinny and I had the exact same predictions, like, to the letter. And then we were like, okay, let's add one more game in to differentiate. And we also picked the exact same game to change. I don't know if Mike's still hearing me. And then we actually picked different games then. I can't... I think I picked Bayonetta 3. And then Swinny, you picked...
Neon White.
White. Yeah. And our gut feel on only having one indie did come true as well. So we probably should have picked... Although Bayonetta is not an indie, but...
Well, A Plague Tale Requiem is... You could argue as an indie, but...
yeah, really? Okay.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it's like compared to the others. But...
That's a pretty crazy indie from what I've played, but...
My only concern, I think, was that these were the obvious ones. Like, I remember when I went through the list, this is what I had, and then I'm like, I'll just change a couple.
Shut the fuck up.
No, they are. They're absolutely the obvious ones.
I'm
everywhere you look, every website.
I'm going to want to lose. I want to lose.
No, go search any predictive, any website that try to predict these. It's these games. Literally, it's these fucking games.
Yes, that's what a prediction is.
No,
that's
but I'm saying
prediction.
it is. I know it's a
what
prediction,
the fuck
but
are you talking about?
Because it was so obvious. It was like,
this is like going, I think that France and Brazil are going to win the World Cup, and then they're in the final, and you go, well, that's so obvious.
No,
it's like,
that's Australia.
No, but like when something is so predictable, there's almost like no point even bothering to have the prediction.
Well,
that's why when you guys asked me to do it,
no,
but it's the same thing. When you guys asked me to predict it, I'm like, why am I even wasting my time? Because I know the games that are going to be on this mainstream.
We want a fun thing to do, predict.
And we've been doing it the last couple of years. Yeah, exactly.
But like, I feel like in the previous years, it was maybe a bit less predictable, if that makes sense. Whereas this was obvious.
Well,
this was really obvious.
Well,
and
when you say you're obvious, you got half of it right. That's not really obvious.
Well, that's because I changed things around because I thought literally I was going to put Stray, I was going to put Xenoblade, and I'm like, nah, fuck that. It's like the obvious ones that...
I don't think Xenoblade is obvious. I don't think that's
I think it's pretty obvious if you look everywhere on the internet.
It's a lot of people were surprised that Xenoblade made it, Mike. I know what you're saying about the others.
I gotta say, Mike, this is very easy to say in retrospect where you put Portal Companion Collection on there.
Well, yeah, because I wanted something different. That's what I'm trying to point out.
But it's only on the Switch. There was only like 6 reviews.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to point out, that these were so ridiculously predictable. Every website had exactly the same 6. Everyone talked about exactly the same 6.
Can I just ask, why
was it too boring to put that in like everyone else?
Portal there when you didn't even want Portal 2
because
in
I wanted
2011?
Something different. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to make predictions, I'll actually try to do something different, not state the obvious, because then what's the point? I'll just yap on and copy what everyone else has done.
Okay.
Plus, you guys know me. I don't give a fuck about this thing. No, it isn't a point because there's no prizes, nothing, right? I wasn't trying to win anything. Sorry, I'm just being distracted. Sorry, but can you just... So first of all, there's that. I just think they were ridiculously predictable games that got picked, and I'm like, oh wow, her derp. Like they picked exactly the games that everyone would said they would do. Congratulations. Let's just give them an award.
Then why did you choose Elden Ring or God of War then?
Yeah, true.
Because I had to put some. Gotcha. I had to put some that I'm like, these are obvious. I can't. You guys are gonna go. You're an idiot. Why didn't you put Elden Ring? You always said Elden Ring was like the #1 game of the year. Like you're gonna like not put Elden Ring on there? Is that a joke? Like I wasn't trying. I was trying to go. Okay, let's put some realistic ones that no doubt will be put in, and then let's go a little left field just to be a bit different to actually have something interesting. Not
You're
plus,
way more
you guys
passionate
know
than I
me.
expected
The
about
reason why
this.
I'm also passionate about it is because honestly, you two love the Game Awards. I don't give a fuck about the Game
We've
Awards.
got-
I don't
wait,
care what
Mike,
other
Mike.
people think
All right,
about
Mike,
a Game of
Mike,
the Year is, right?
Mike, we've got a whole- Mike.
and this is why, because it's so bloody predictable what they pick.
We have a whole segment right now talking about the Game Awards, okay?
Yes.
I think Norco is not a bad pick. I went back to your picks. Portal is like
Interesting stuff
terrible.
like that, yeah.
Portal is the worst pick of all time. Return to Monkey Island, that's fine. Like Return
That was
to Monkey
way
Island.
left field.
All right. Well, they were the
Norco's
results.
not too bad.
They were the results of our predictions.
So
I
Mike
just want
got
to,
creamed, but
I just want to give some
Well, at least that was
totals.
original.
So we have God of War Ragnarok with 10 nominations overall. We have Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West both with 7 nominees. Nominations across all the categories. Stray had 6. Plague Tale Requiem had 5. Neon White, Immortality, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Mario Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, and Modern Warfare 2 all got 3 nominations, and 2 nominations were Gran Turismo 7, Splatoon 3, Multiverses, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's can't say.
it's like it's like a Joker laugh.
To me, Gran Turismo 7 is a fucking joke. But anyway, go
All
on.
right.
No, but it
Junie-
would be best racing game or something like best. Yeah,
I
like,
guess, yeah. 'Cause there's
Like, what else are you
nothing
gonna
that
put
really
in
came
there?
out.
I think it's audio
Grid-
design,
Ollie World.
Or something? I don't know.
audio design, and racing sports. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Audio
Shuni-
design. I guess because they did a lot of shit there, right, with the car and everything like that.
And Tunic only nabbed 2 nominations, so that's a bit of a shame.
It's funny
but,
that I turn off all the
surprised by
music
that.
in Gran Turismo 7 when I play it. It doesn't. I don't know.
but you hear the
I like
engine
it
sounds.
in the menus.
You hear the car
well, that's why I
sounds.
put it on just to hear the engine sounds. I don't play it.
That's
to
what audio
crank the
design
radio
is.
up.
It's not soundtrack. It's the sounds of the engine and the racing.
Probably both, but yeah,
All right.
I agree.
Okay. All right. So look, there's a couple of things I want to talk about out of the I guess some of the other categories. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to pick out off the top of your head, but
Well, you had three of the 4 things are what I wanted to talk about as well.
yeah. So maybe we'll start with best narrative, and this a lot of people are talking about this one, which is the fact that Elden Ring is nominated for best narrative, which is a game that is specifically designed to really not have a plot that's directly told to the player. There's obviously a lot of lore and world building and things like that. And that's where I think a lot of people, this category is so broad. Like we had Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy win this last year, and I predicted
I think I predicted that, didn't I?
I predicted that because I had heard like everyone's talking
writing.
about the writing
Yeah,
and
correct.
the characters talking to each other as opposed to the direct plot. So narrative is a bit broader than what's the story, for instance.
Yeah.
In saying that, do I think Elden Ring should have been nominated for best narrative? No.
Oh, I think
Neither.
it's okay. I'll mount the case of why, right? So,
Okay.
like, ultimately, someone just puts a list and says best narrative, storytelling. This is the only. There's like from what I remember, Swinny. I might need to double check this, but there's not something like for best writing or best
Exactly.
world building or best anything like that, right? So, game direction, I classify differently in my mind than like world building, right? Like lore and things like that. So from that frame, I know that it's only like saying for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. But if I'm voting on this, I'm gonna like include lore, world building, all that kind of stuff. For me personally, I would say Elden Ring shits all over Horizon Forbidden West, right? A game that I've played and beaten, right? The story in that is like, whatever. But the writing's stupid and like in Elden Ring, like, although I didn't read everything, there's some stuff that I was reading and getting into. I'm like, this is kind of cool. It's kind of like, it makes you think, the Elden gods and all this other shit. And it's like, oh, okay. I'm not fully into it. I know you're into it way more, Swinny, but I think that's why it's totally fine. I don't want to give away my secret voting because I have been on a win streak with these Game Award stuff, but I don't think it's going to win. I don't think it's going to win this category. So I think it's fine. If it wins the category, I kind of think that's a bit unfair.
Yeah, same. I mean, look. If I open up Wikipedia, and I hate to be one of those people, what is the definition of narrative? And
Jordan
a
Peterson,
narrative,
what's the definition
story
of
or
definition?
tale is an account of a series of related events or experiences. If you look at the definition from like the Oxford Language Dictionary, it's a spoken or written account of connected events, a story. I don't think Elden Ring really fits that in what it is. It's got amazing lore, absolutely amazing lore, but I don't feel like there was a real narrative when I was playing the game.
See,
And I just don't think it deserves to even be nominated for something like that in that sense. Nominated for the most amazing lore, Okay, cool. Absolutely, yeah. And all of these can actually fall into that category because, Horizon Forbidden West, it has a lore of itself. God of War has lore, plus mixed in with, real mythology and stuff like that. But when it comes to actually storytelling and narrative, nah. As much as I love Elden Ring, I don't think it fits into this at all.
Yeah,
But
fair enough.
I'm very happy Immortality was nominated. That has an amazing narrative, the best narrative. Really, really great to see that up here with these big players. So
Nice.
now the next one is one that I wanted to call out again about Immortality, which is best performance. So best performance is acting, and it's really strange here because we've got and the reason I say acting is because
Sorry, this Christopher Judge photo is so funny. Why have they not submitted a better photo, like a headshot?
He's a cool dude.
yeah, but it looks like a selfie that he took with holding his phone in front of him.
It's so weird.
And the reason I bring up acting is because generally this is voice acting, right? And so all of these, are all voice actors, with the exception of Manu
Michael
Gage.
Jackson? Oh, sorry.
So Manu Gage for Immortality. If anyone doesn't know, Immortality is a series of clips from movies and backstage clips and things. So it's live action, it's actual acting. So it's really kind of interesting to see those two mixed into this same category. And in saying that, it's actually not who I would have nominated from Immortality. I would have actually nominated Charlotte Molan. So she was absolutely amazing and so unsettling. It's hard to describe to anyone that hasn't played it, but it's just like this sense of dread and being, it's pretty freaky what happens in Immortality. But I'm really glad that's nominated up here as well. So, dude,
I'm when I see this, I'm like, wait, Ashley Birch is Aloy? I'm like, what the fuck? She's a good voice actor, man. I know her from other shit, and I'm like, huh? Is that who Aloy is? Fuck, she's a good voice actor, dude. Holy shit, that's actually thrown me.
It's
I
still
Christopher
wild.
Judge was Aloy.
It's still wild to me that you've got, Aloy and Tiny Tina as the same person.
Yeah,
that's always crazy. To
she's
me,
a good voice actor, man. Don't think she'll win. No, I'm giving away too many of my secrets.
Well, the next one, let's bring up best fighting, and
yes,
this one
I really want to talk about this.
Yeah,
one.
this spurred a lot of controversy this week.
Shit.
Mainly for one reason, but there's two things you can really talk about here. So first of all is the fact that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R is here, and that's a remaster.
It's a mic pick.
It's an upgraded remaster. If that was nominated here, then you could argue that Last of Us Part 1, could also be nominated for Game of the Year and stuff like that. So I like the game, but I don't think it should be eligible. It must have been a quiet year.
But hang on, is this a full-on remake like The Last of Us was?
No, it's even less than that.
It's way.
Then I don't
Well,
think it's good. I think The Last
they
of Us
added some
deserves
stuff
it.
in the game. They did add some stuff in the game.
No, I'm saying JoJo is less than Last of Us.
No, but they did add some stuff into JoJo, though.
Yeah, they did, but it's not like a massive.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying,
so.
it's not like they didn't add.
No, of course
anything,
not.
But,
they changed gameplay systems and things like that.
Yeah.
So what's the controversy? Sorry, I wasn't.
Well, Integot, do you want to take this one away?
Well, I agree on the JoJo thing, but I think ultimately it's just I don't think there's literally any other fighting games that really came out this
really
year.
quiet year. Yeah.
like it's crazy how low the amount of fighting games that came out this year. But the real debate is around Sifu,
Okay.
which is not a fighting game.
No.
There's no universe it could be classified as a fighting game. It's a brawler. It's a like 101 brawler. It's insane that this has been. They should have had just 4 nominees or 3 nominees.
It's not even a 1-on-1. There's times when you fight more than one dude. Groups of enemies.
And you cannot fight against someone else in multiplayer. I feel like to me that in some ways has to be a bare minimum, honestly, to be a fighting game.
Should we go a best beat 'em up or something?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but that would. I don't think that's a good solution. Because then it becomes a beat 'em ups versus fighting game thing, and you're meant to highlight
have
something.
2 different categories. You don't have to.
No, they do. They already have they have some kind of beat 'em up character.
Action.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, put it under that.
I find it weird. We're not talking about it, but we talk about that split category. The fact that they've got best sports and racing in one category is also weird to me. But
but there's not. Yeah, I don't mind that. But Yeah, this is a really weird one. I just think it ultimately gets down to, because they do have a list of nominees, right? Now we don't know what that list is. We don't vote for the Game Awards, but I just wonder how many games. Like I'm trying to look it up myself, Swinny. Like how many games are actually like fighting games, true fighting games came out this year? There's like like outside of like King of Fighters, 15 multiverses, and like it's like nothing. It's crazy how many it was.
They ran out and it was only 4, and they had to add a 5th one because it looks weird just having 4.
I think so. Honestly, I think so.
Yeah, the only other one is like your Capcom Fighting Collection, which wouldn't be really eligible because they're not new games. You know,
I mean, but like JoJo's not either. Like, I would actually put the Capcom release ahead of Sifu. Honestly, seriously,
I agree.
Which is stupid, but like, I'm looking at Metacritic at the moment. I'm like, there really wasn't many games that came out this year.
Isn't Pokemon technically a fighting game? I mean, Pokemon fight each other. Like,
You
why
say
not
that, and there's been an actual Pokemon fighting game.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Well, the last one is a bit of a strange category, which is content creator or content
Which
creator
is always
of the year
weird
or
every
whatever.
year. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's always obviously a mix of people, some that you might know, some you might not know. But
I don't know any of these people.
Nibalian.
I know this.
Nibalian is, to me, a really odd choice for a content creator, someone that's like almost like a news reporter, you know, or was a news reporter.
Well, he's still creating content, right?
Well, he's not.
He's not.
He's literally not because he's quit Twitter.
Yeah.
So, like, there's two parts of this, Mike. Nibalian or Nobalian or whatever you fucking say his name.
Rebellion?
He actually quit Twitter when Twitter got sold to Elon Musk. And, like, not saying it's necessarily because of that, but it was like, I'm wasting my life. It was channeling you a little bit. It was like, what am I doing with my life? I'm going to stop doing this, right? So he's quit. So that's the number one thing that I think is really interesting. That he's like quit and he's getting nominated. It'd be awesome if he wins, actually.
That'd be really cool.
Right? But the
like,
other
fuck
part,
you, I'm not coming back.
to Swinny's point, is it's a bit like Wario64 on Twitter, where it's like he collects things, he curates things, but he doesn't have very much at all. He didn't have very much like analysis, right? Because I used to follow like his account because it was always like to the minute, you know, like the best news, but it wasn't. Like, there's a few other creators on Twitter who I would say they're creators because they're like, they've got some analysis or some thought around the news. He would just like kind of go, here's the news, and then wouldn't really even say anything about it. So
I didn't realize Twitter was used for, you know, that kind of content creation. I thought it was just for people to fucking give their opinion that no one really gives a fuck about.
No, I think Twitter is the best way to get news.
I didn't realize.
I think Twitter's the best place to get news, quite honestly.
But like, how do you create the content? Isn't it video uploads? Like,
no, people tweet.
I'm not even kidding when I say this.
It feels like you are taking the piss.
Yeah, but like, no, I'm not trying to. I'm legit not trying to take the piss. To me, tweeting about shit isn't content creation. It's just your fucking opinion on something.
I just think there's so many more people out there that would be better served and be nominated for this.
I mean, but this category has always historically been a ridiculous category. Like, some people get nominated, like the Carl Jacobs
like
one.
the entire thing is ridiculous.
Why is he getting nominated? It's so weird. Oh, I went to actually show Nibillion's tweets, but look at this shit. What the
Deleted?
fuck? He's protected them all.
So he hasn't deleted them. He just closed it and protected it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that before. That's
maybe
really
you
weird.
can ping Elon and he can unprotect them for everyone to see.
I will say, when I was reading the nominees at first glance, I thought it said Carl Jobst. I'm like, oh yes,
yeah.
I actually did think that as well.
That would have been all right.
I got excited for a split second. I was like, oh shit, that's cool. But then I'm like, oh no, it's not.
Man, it's just like I don't say this, and I don't know how I would phrase this, but I don't know any of those people. Like, how fucking out of the loop am I?
But that's fine.
Those people, like, who the fuck are those people?
The people
What do they even talk
content.
about?
This guy Ludwig.
Apparently, they tweet shit, and now they win an award. Okay, cool.
So this guy Ludwig, he was a former like, mostly like Smash commentator, turned streamer, turned YouTube creator. He's a pretty smart guy. He's okay. This Carl Jacobs guy is part of the Mr. Beast thing, right?
Yeah, he is.
I don't even know what that is.
And I don't think Mr. Beast is like been nominated. Oh, maybe he has. I don't know.
They're probably also
I don't know
trying
who
not
this
to
Nobrew
repeat.
is.
They probably also try not to repeat people from previous years to mix it up.
Yeah, that's true. And this lady, I think she's QTC's girlfriend or wife.
You mean ex-QTC?
XTC or
I don't
XQTC
know.
or something
What?
like that.
Who's QT?
Just a bit
What?
really big streamer from Canada.
Everyone's like, how old are these
We are
motherfuckers?
fucking so old, I know.
Understand any of this shit?
Hey, I know enough. Dude, if you ask other people my age, I think I'd be in the top tier of people who know something about this shit. As if that's impressive.
Probably.
Like, who gives a shit?
Well, is there any other categories or any other call-outs you guys want to make about the stuff, or we can get to it? We can get through it when we talk about our predictions.
Yeah, let's cover it then. I always love the Nintendo, typically Nintendo category, Best Family, which almost is always dominated by just Nintendo games. But this year, Splatoon 3 is like, that's an interesting family one, but okay.
Is it a family game?
I mean,
That
I'm
is not a
very
family
comfortable.
game.
No, but I would say like this. I'm super comfortable with my boys watching Splatoon 3. Like, I got no issues with that, right? It's the only
Okay.
shooter game that I would ever let them see at their age, so...
Fair enough.
Well, if Mike had kids, he'd be comfortable watching them watch like Callisto Protocol or something.
Sextrous.
Sextrous.
Only if they're 3 or older, okay? Jeez.
And then this is your favorite category, Mike. Best VR, AR game.
Oh, absolutely my favorite category. I haven't seen any of
Brain Lab, man.
Moss.
Anyway,
I'm
I'm not going to give you hints. I'm not going to give you hints. All right.
Cool. Well, the second story this
Well,
week.
can we just say before we move on that, you know, Swinny and I look forward to going through every single category and voting and nominating and streaming the Game Awards. But Mike, I'm guessing you're not going to be streaming the Game Awards?
100% not.
I like
Dude,
how I'm quitting the show, but somehow you're quitting the show without saying you're quitting.
No, I'm not. I just don't want to do that because to me, no. I'm not quitting or anything. I'm just not watching that live or doing anything about it. I'll talk about it, but you know my opinions on it. It's the fucking Oscars of video games. I don't give a shit about the Oscars.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
if you
care
do a
about some
movie
awards.
podcast, you surely wouldn't cover the Oscars, right?
Because I feel like I had to, but I don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't care what you know, pat on the backs people give themselves as an industry when I don't even fucking half agree with like 90% of the things that they pick.
I think that
I'm just not into that shit. You know I'm not into that.
I think that, you know, other people, maybe Swinny and I, can look at it and go, it's a good framing to talk about the whole year and all the games we played and then shit on the stupid
Yeah,
games.
but
that
we
people
should do
like
it
and everything like
ourselves,
that.
not go live through some other person's bloody award system. Who cares
And also
what
the
they
world
pick?
premiere.
We should pick our own.
World premiere. We don't have world premieres. So.
Wankfest is what that is. I think we should do our own. You know, we should have our own Game of
World
the Year award
premieres.
thing.
Yes.
Our own big week.
The new Zero.
Big year in gaming.
Mike.
We should have a big year in gaming
Okay.
awards
Mike,
thing.
if you do a Be Kind Rewind style world premiere of games that don't exist but you create them, right, like Fallout 5 and all this other shit,
Okay.
then I will do that. We'll host our own fake game awards.
Okay.
Be Kind Rewind style. But you need to create those segments and then I'll do the rest, all right?
He's not committed.
No, he's not going to do anything.
I'm not going to commit
Exactly.
to it. No, because I was thinking about
Of
how
course
the hell
not.
do I get footage for these games to
It's
to
Be
show
Kind
it?
Rewind. You don't need to. It's just when you make it up.
You
Okay.
act it out
So
yourself.
let's
Act
do
it out.
Okay.
With,
Swedish style.
with wigs and
Yeah.
Oh,
props.
with wigs and
Yeah,
props and
dildos
stuff.
and
Right, okay,
stuff.
sure. Oh, okay, wow.
You've
that's-
haven't you got
You
enough
leave my
props
private
around?
collection out of this.
Just use your sex toy box. It's like you have everything in there.
This is really off the
Let me
rails.
see. Let me go to my props like I usually do.
All right, we're going to move on to the next topic.
Okay. All right. So we have Doom Eternal once again, much quicker than we expected. We talked about it at length last week about Mick Gordon's big open letter responding to Mike, can you stop being a twat?
Oh,
That is my light touch.
yeah, that's I don't think I've ever heard you insult Mike. So yeah, actually calling him a twat is like basically calling him the C word.
Okay, so last week Mick Gordon released his massive 14,000 word letter responding to the whole Doom.
It's so crazy
Eternal
to think that it's
soundtrack
actually
thing.
14,000 words. It's so crazy.
And that was last week, but that was in response to a post on Reddit from 2 years ago that Doom Eternal producer Marty Stratton put up, right? So that's the timeline there of like, it was 2 years in making almost. A week later, or almost less than a week later, I think, id Software or Bethesda in general have put up like an official response on their Twitter account about this whole mess. So at a very high level, and anyone doesn't know, basically they put the blame on, like Mick Gordon's in not really delivering, and that led to the poor
In the Reddit
quality.
post.
Yeah, in the Reddit post, the poor Doom Eternal soundtrack, official soundtrack. So that's at a high level. There's, please go check out last week's episode if you want the full breakdown of that. But what I thought I'd ask is, Mike, sorry for calling you a twat 2 seconds ago. Can you please read out please read out the letter that Bethesda released?
No worries, hijo de la gran puta. The recent post by Mick Gordon.
No, we need to look at Romanian. No, wait.
That wasn't even Romanian, that was Spanish.
Yeah, you said something.
So,
something.
Get a
bitch.
subtitle more.
son of a bitch.
Yeah,
So the recent post by Mick Gordon both mischaracterized and misrepresented the team at ID Software, the development of Doom Eternal, Marty Stratton, and Chad Moshholder, with a one-sided and unjust account of an irreparable professional relationship. We are aware of all the details and history in this matter, and unequivocally, I can't pronounce that word, man. Unequivocally,
Swinny setting up Mike.
Chad and the team at ID Software. We rejected distortion of the truth and selective representation of incomplete facts, in quotes. We stand ready with full and complete documented evidence to disclose in an appropriate venue as needed. The statements posted online have incited harassment and threats of violence against Marty, Chad, and the ID Software team. Any threats or harassment directed towards members of our teams will be met with swift and appropriate action to protect their health and safety. We remain incredibly proud of ID's previous collaborations with Mick Gordon and ask that fans refrain from reaching conclusions based on his account and, more importantly, from attacking any of the individuals mentioned on either side, including Marty, Chad, or Mick.
Wow. Are we going to go line by line, Swinny? I want to break this sucker down.
If you want to go line by line, I've got to pop off for a second, so feel free.
Oh, okay.
Okie dokie.
Look at everyone's just quitting the show. Even Swinny's leaving. So number one, like I work with a lot of PR people, right? Mm-hmm. The fact that this is a nothing statement. This is fucking nothing, right? Like,
so a typical PR statement, basically.
No, but like there's degrees of PR statements, right? This one literally, you could write this. Just say like if everything that Mick Gordon said was a lie versus everything was exactly the truth, you pretty much could write this statement again, right? Because nothing's really completely definitive. Like they don't actually say here, he's lying, right? They say it's a distortion of truth, right? So they're not saying there's no truth. So there must be truth in what he's saying, some elements, right? Otherwise I'd just say there are blatant lies in his statement and distortion of truth. You know what I'm trying to say? Like
no,
you can still cover that from a PR perspective, but the fact that it's like they're easing on the side of like it's manipulated, it's one-sided, but it's like, of course it is, right? Because it's his perspective on it, right? Why would he present facts that go against him, right? They still might be facts, right? So the fact that this is basically a nothing statement, and it took so long for them to send this out, because this would have been drafted in like 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops, right? The fact that it took internally at id, Bethesda, Microsoft.
It had to probably go through all the different legal departments
but dude,
for every single team.
No. But for PR, like this kind of stuff, the companies are ready to go, right? So the fact that it took a week for them to post this, it must have been massive amount of back and forth from senior leadership to be like, are we going to let them send this? Don't put anything on Microsoft on it. You know what I mean? Like there's like all these things. The fact that it doesn't say Microsoft anywhere here, like Microsoft supports id or Bethesda or anything like that, it's super telling to me. It's super, super telling. Like as just an overall statement. But then like you look at like, line by line, it's just like total like bullshit, man. It's like the most nothing statement I've ever seen. What were you about to say, Swinny?
No, I was just going to say about the whole Microsoft thing. I agree. It's kind of very telling, but at the same time, I think people need to remember underneath Xbox, you've got the Xbox Game Studios kind of like pillar, and Bethesda is a separate pillar from Xbox Game Studios. So
it's Microsoft's own company.
No, I know that. That's what I'm just saying. But it's like that's why it's possibly also often they separate the Bethesda stuff at the moment. But I agree, it's telling. So
yeah. But yeah, you kind of go through it really quickly. It's like the first statement, it's mischaracterized, misrepresented. It's not saying it's untrue, right? It's just saying that it's his version of the truth, right? Without saying it's wrong. Then the next paragraph, we're aware of all the details and history, blah, blah, blah. And then stand ready. Like, so they're basically not calling out, like, we are going to pursue action, right? And they're literally not saying it's false. They're just saying it's distortion, right? So that statement, like, legally, and it's very legalistic, some of this writing, that statement could be true even if he just withholds one statement, Mick Gordon, right? And they go, well, you've distorted the truth because you've withheld certain things. It's like that is always true of almost anything that you could write. He wrote 14,000 words. Of course, there's still going to be stuff that's missing, right? Then the third paragraph where they talk about inciting harassment and stuff. I mean, like, Mick Gordon is constantly saying throughout the thing, do not harass people. I've been harassed. I don't think people should be harassed. He finished his whole statement with saying, I don't want anyone to hate bomb. Someone like Doom Eternal started getting, review bombed. And he actually addressed it on Twitter. He's like, please don't review bomb the game. Right?
Yeah,
like,
but,
I have a dispute, but don't do it.
People who do that kind of stuff, they're not going to fucking listen to anyone about that.
No, but you can't say that he's like...
What's to cover his own ass as well. But
no, but the way that they've posted it and stuff, they're making it's almost like, he's incited it. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
look,
that's a very emotional word.
He hasn't incited. I think that word is very key. I think his comments absolutely would incite people to do that. There's no denying that. But he hasn't gone out to intentionally cause that incitement. Yeah. But inevitably, through what he said, people will do what people do. They go and do dumb shit like that. So
yeah. And by the way, Marty posted something on Reddit, which is the exact same thing as what Mick's done. Mick has just responded in kind, right? So I feel like it's such a weak ass, like, third paragraph. And then the last one, it's like, yeah, cool, it's all stuff. It's like, okay, like, it's very strange. This is like such a weird statement. I actually was not expecting something like this to come out. I thought they'd be silent about it. But I feel like this is actually a very weird statement and kind of indicates to me it seems unlikely they're going to actually take him to court over this. And it puts him in a really bad bind, I think. Like, I don't think this is bubbled out to, like, regular people who play Doom and, like, will play the next id game. But I think it's really soured journalists, right? And the media around id. So next time, like, and I reckon it'll probably be, would have been E3 23, E3 24 at the latest. They'll have to talk about, hey, this is a new id game that we're building. I think the story is all going to be about this still, honestly. And that's where it will leak into the mainstream, I think.
Look, maybe I've got really shit ears, but when I played the game, I never went, huh? What's up with...
No, Mike, it's about the official soundtrack release, not the game soundtrack. That's what the issue was.
Because the game soundtrack, the way that they build those is really interesting, actually. Like, they'll break it all down into stems and stuff like that. So it's like, depending on the situation, they're like elevating the action, the music as well, right? And Doom Eternal does that, like, almost as good as any game does, right? But the OST, like the Doom original 2016 OST, is amazing.
Yeah. And
the Eternal one is not. And it's very obvious in lots of different ways why it's not amazing. Yep. So, yeah, no. And then, I don't know, was there anything else you wanted to say before we go on to Mick Gordon responding to this?
No, look, just I echo what you said is this just feels like a whole lot of nothing. And anyone that's read what Mick released would be able to just punch holes in this so easily. So.
And the thing that I liked was that Mick, pretty much straight off the bat, like, they posted this shit and you go, okay, he's going to be quiet. He's like, no, fuck that. He goes on in a very Mike move. Marty Stratton, id Software studio director, lied about Doom Eternal's OST events in a Reddit post that used disinformation to blame me entirely for its failure. Later, he offered me a six-figure sum to never speak about it. The truth is important, linking to his statement.
Nice.
Their thing got 15,000 likes. His post, 38,000. All right. And that's a reply. So people actually have to click through it to see it. So you can kind of tell where the public opinion is at with it at the moment. And people calling for Marty's head. And honestly, I think if you're ZeniMax Microsoft, you really got to look at it and go, how critical is Marty? Right? Like, I don't know, like, how much he is, like, really producing the game versus is he like a studio director, like, more of a business role. I think he actually leans in more on the game design element as well. But I gotta say, man, like I didn't think this before, but I'm more inclined to go. It's kind of getting a bit untenable for Marty to stay there, man, because it's gonna kill the buzz of the next game.
Yeah, I don't think this statement did anything to alleviate that. Basically, that court of opinion, that public opinion we talked about last week. Because they also, not that they'd obviously hold on to, ways to refute anything he stated for, it sounds like, they've got receipts, they say, or whatever they mentioned there. But there's nothing in this that makes anyone reading it go, oh yeah, no, I don't believe him anymore, or there's some stuff he may have misconstrued,
Yeah, I was saying this on our Discord, so if you want to join our Discord, check the link. Just links are in the description. That I think, what I said on the show last week was true and was what I believed then, which is, look, honestly, there still is two sides to every story, right?
Of course.
And it wasn't just like, I just fully believe whatever Mick's saying. But now after this Bethesda post and how weak it is, like, I'm almost inclined now to just go, well, I'm inclined to believe what Mick is saying. Because the fact that they're not even saying it's a lie, they don't say anything is a lie. They just say it's a distortion of the truth. If they had said, look, we don't want to go through every detail, but for example, when he said about the contract, here's an email where he said this, you know what I mean? Like, then it's like, okay, maybe there's more to this, and they don't want to go into it, but then, at least people can go, well, maybe there's more. But they didn't even do that. And it's like, until something else changes, I'm kind of now on Mick's side with the dude is like super detail orientated. He's gone through it all. They haven't refuted anything. They've just said it's a distortion. Of course it's a distortion. It's his story, and he's been like blasted on Reddit. So very ugly for id, which is a studio I absolutely love to death.
Well, same. At least what it used to be. I've lost track of who's what in it anymore, but I don't like the whole thing about how there's two sides to every coin. I think absolutely applies to it, but it's more so that the same event can happen, and two people involved in exactly the same event can have completely two different perspectives on it.
Yeah,
literally same thing happened, and they and not because they're trying to conceal anything, not because just their interpretation based on how they feel about that particular event is entirely different.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, on that, Mike, like that's pretty much what I was saying last week, where it's like, I mean, my role at my work is like probably more similar to Marty, right, than Mick. And I could imagine there's some people that think I'm a prick and like, they have a version of events, right?
I don't have to imagine that.
But as you said, there's always two sides. Like I might think that something's well covered because it's like it's been implied, or it's like their responsibility, accountability, rah rah rah. And I could imagine, like, honestly, a situation where Mick is like a perfectionist. I've been watching a lot of more of his interviews recently, and I'm like, this dude is like a super perfectionist, right? So maybe he's just like, I got to top myself. How am I going to do this? But this statement, man, has really turned me against like id. So I'm like, I'm not going crazy about it, but
are you boycotting them?
Well, no, but like I was saying this last week. I don't want to repeat everything, but I am very put off playing Doom Eternal, which I've been saving to play for a while, and now I'm really like, I don't think it's just gonna dominate my thoughts about it. So, which is really bad sign for id, honestly, and like their resurgence. So,
well, it's a really tricky one because I mean, I know this is slightly different topic, but related to that, and we talked about this before, being able to take the how do I put it?
Separate the art from the artist.
Separate the art from the artist, yeah. And it's actually Mick that's the artist, but anyway, it's a different story. But recently I heard that, for example, Larry David was advertising FTX.
FTX, I know. I was so pissed.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Seriously? Like, he's trying to make money off that
Super
shit?
Bowl. I had the Super Bowl. I didn't like that he's doing. That's before they became a Ponzi scheme, or they always were a Ponzi scheme, right?
So I'm like, what do I do? Do I separate it? Do I stop watching Curb as a result? One of my favorite shows.
You just saying,
everyone sells out eventually. Although he didn't need to sell out because he had enough money not to have to sell out.
I'm just glad you didn't bring it. But anyway. I'm just glad you didn't bring up Shaq and Samuel L. Jackson again.
I've already talked about that, right? But no. This week it's Larry David that I've got a vendetta against for bloody supporting that
FTX,
shit.
Yeah.
But
okay.
So I think it's the same as this. It's like, sure, okay, maybe a couple of execs were dicks about something, but in the end, that game took hundreds and hundreds of people to make, and I'm not gonna forget that part of it. I will keep being pissed off at particular people, let's say, but I would still appreciate the game for what it is and remember that there's hundreds of people involved in making that, not just the decision of one executive that might or might not be an idiot.
Can I just say one thing about the Larry David FTX ad is that, so the premise of the ad, I don't know if you've seen it, Swinny.
I do not even know about this ad, no.
So because I watched the Super Bowl live, I love like NFL. And I was pissed that Larry David was doing a crypto ad. I knew it was a freaking crypto ad, right? But it is actually genuinely funny ad, right? So it's basically Larry David through history, like at the invention of the wheel. And he's like, nah, it's shit, right? Like the invention of fire, nah, printing press, it's never going to work out, right? And then someone right at the end of the ad is like, oh, crypto. And he's sitting back in his chair. He's like, nah, I don't see it, right? That's the ad.
I thought he was going to go.
It would have been funny if, like,
pretty
good, yeah.
I think he
it's
does
like
something,
that actually failed.
I think he might do something like that, right? But then I also think it's funny because he's actually shitting on crypto in the ad, right? That's how they end the ad. He's basically like, nah, it's not going to work out, which is right, right? So he's getting sued for that ad, by the way.
Oh, what?
Yeah. By like investors in FTX for misrepresentation and things like that. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but his defense will be
because it turns out that the wheel was a good idea.
No, I know exactly. So anyway, let's get back to the Sizzler.
Yeah, so let's wrap up the news by looking at some of the other headlines that we're not going to cover in detail because didn't have the time or the effort to put them all together, but that's fine. They're still important. There's some stuff I want to talk about here. What about you guys?
Ditto, absolutely. So I'll just go first since I just jumped in. Next Gen Witcher 3 Wild Hunt update is now scheduled for December 14th. Woohoo! That's like 3 weeks away, technically, a month. I don't know, whatever. It's however number of weeks, less than a month from now, I think. And I always thought that maybe it's going to come to PC as well, but I hadn't officially seen that until I actually saw the post by CD Projekt Red saying it's on all the platforms and there's a bunch of stuff, including I think the tie-in series outfits and stuff like that are also being updated on the Switch version. The only slight concern I have is I haven't been able to definitively figure out anywhere whether the Switch version, which is compatible with the PC version via cloud save, so I've been playing back and forth between them, will retain that ability. It'd be really weird if it didn't, because that was one of the main things about that.
I wonder how many people out there, other than you, are doing that.
I've done that. I've done it.
No, but as in
but it was a huge feature.
No,
of the
but
game.
as in to justify them actually making it be able to work with this.
But the problem is it was a huge feature of the game.
I know,
so
I know.
I'm like, I guess, are you now technically playing a different version of the game? And how do you go back to just playing your regular version of the game that is compatible between the two then?
If history, like if we look at history, the normal Witcher 3 and the Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition, let's say on the Xbox One, same platform, the saves weren't compatible between those two different versions.
They weren't, yeah.
So,
but is this technically like a third version?
I don't know.
But you get the upgrade for free if you've got the previous version. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, and I hope they do keep it. Not the end of the world if they don't. I'll probably just play it on PC or something. But it would be cool to continue that because actually I really enjoyed going between the two. It was really awesome. You can sit in bed, play it. Again, I'm not going to sound like a broken record. I wish I had a Steam Deck, then I wouldn't have this problem. But in the meantime, I can play it on the Switch and go and play it on PC or something. And it's really cool.
I'm in the exact same camp as you. Like, I've used that feature, and I like going back and forth. But I'm ultimately like, shit, I need to get a Steam Deck.
Same. I would solve a lot of that.
Yeah, there's quite a few games. Like, Vampire Survivor is like... It's actually a top 10 most played Steam Deck game. Vampire Survivor.
I can see why.
Yeah,
really
you can
cool
totally see that, right? So...
Well, one quick one from me is news that I had no idea about until I saw it on a website, which means it didn't get much reach at all, is Piranha Bytes. So their cult classic Risen, which was like on the PS3, obviously PC, but PS3, Xbox 360 era RPG, is getting a re-release on last-gen consoles.
On last-gen consoles,
and Switch. So, like, obviously, Switch.
That's cool.
That's cool. But I look up because Risen's an action RPG. You know, they worked on the Elix games and things like that, and the Gothic games. But it's like it's not called like Risen Remastered Edition or anything like that. So I'm like, well, are they actually doing anything to the game? It looks like in the footage, it looks like it's running nicer, high textures and everything, which you'd assume, but I don't know if they're actually doing any more work to it. But look, I'm happy to play through that game. You know, I loved Risen, so.
dumb question. So if they're porting into PS4 and Xbox One, does that mean you can then play it on the PS5 and series as well?
Well, I mean, I can't confirm PS5, but generally all the games do. So
Okay, cool.
with
So
a
effectively
few
it's
exceptions.
Available on all platforms, but they didn't want to advertise it as the
But they're
latest gen because it might
They're not
set the
native.
wrong idea.
They're not native versions, though.
Yeah,
So that's the difference.
But you know what I mean?
So-
Like, it might have set the wrong idea to people. They might have gone, "Oh, cool, Risen's coming to Series X. They're gonna like revamp all the graphics," but no, it's not that. It's nothing like that. Okay, that's cool.
I was going to just mention a quick one that's not actually in the wrap up for the Big Sizzler. Again, I know I was mentioning the new season for Splatoon 3, so it's chill season starting in December. But there were things that I missed out on it that they're bringing back X battles. So it's actually like a new rank. So you have to be S plus, I think it's like S plus 50 or something like that. 3 new weapons, which is really cool. And 10 returning weapons and a new stage. So like... one thing I just want to shit on quickly, because it's been the whole episode of the shitting
What
on
are you,
Mike
Mike?
or everything else, is this game has got so much content, like fully complete single player mode, extra modes, like bonus little game, like card game in it, multiplayer, and a structured rollout. Like good season, 3 months. Now this is a new season, new weapons, everything. And then I look at Halo Infinite, I'm like, how does this fucking happen? How do they release Halo Infinite in such a fucking botched way? And this dinky game from Nintendo, which has sold a lot, to be fair, is like killing it in terms of like structure and how to release and how to do a roadmap. Like, it's bizarre to me. It's bizarre.
That may be the case, but I think it's extremely, hemisphere-ist.
Calling it chill season.
Yeah.
No, it's chill because you're chilling by the beach.
Is it though?
You're chilling by the beach.
Hemisphere.
I don't think that's what
All
they
right,
were
see,
trying
Mike,
to say.
you've redeemed yourself because that's the show title, Hemispherist.
I've typed it in.
Yeah, I like that's like last week, whatever we came up with. What was it? Something tangent? Something
Tandy tangent.
Tandy tangent.
Tandy
Yeah.
tangent sounds
And
cool.
we both
I
had it
that.
like instantly, like, ah, that's the show title. You already wrote it in.
Okay, fair enough.
Mike, anything else?
I mean, look, Dead Island 2 being delayed from Feb to April. 3rd of Feb, so early Feb to late April. So effectively 2 months delay. And at the end of the world, again, polish it, get it out there. I'm happy to wait.
When they announced that release date, like back then, I was like, man, that seems so soon for a game that like just got re-announced, you know. But look, delayed if you need to, man. Like you don't want to screw that game up. So another one from me is the fact that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had the biggest pre-orders in the series history. And
Wait, you're just trying to trigger him.
there's a lot of people out there talking about Pokemon this week, Mike. What are your thoughts about the newest Pokemon?
Why are you doing that?
Looks
Why are you doing
freaking
that?
awesome. So I obviously got my hands on it and I played it. And
Did you actually get it?
Mwah, it runs superbly, 60 FPS. It's a joy to play. Oh my god, like some of the best graphics I have ever seen on the Switch console. Xenoblade, pfft, it's freaking PS2 era kind of graphics compared to this thing. Amazing gameplay. They're super innovative. Okay, they've completely innovated the whole concept. Nothing like all the previous titles in the series. Amazing Pokemon. I love the Pokemon in it.
What's your
Nothing like
favorite?
weird ones.
What's your favorite new Pokemon?
Crapodactyl is probably my favorite one. Yeah, really cool. I love it. So amazing game, absolutely amazing game. I think everyone should get it. Everyone should pre-order the next one right now, even though it's not announced yet, because they should pre-order games like that just to make sure the devs understand they need to keep churning out these amazingly high quality products. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it.
Thank you for sharing.
What's so wrong with it? I mean, it's
what I'm
pushing.
saying. It looks amazing.
Look at the amazing graphics. It has to go down to like 12 frames per second to be able to like sustain it.
Look, what I've actually seen of this game, it seems like it's got its fun moments. You know, it seems like a fun game, but man, it's
your heroin's
they are. It's
20
really,
frames per
really.
second. It's
Game
awesome.
Freak are really stretching it now in terms of like not delivering on the
It's a
technical
fucking
front.
joke, man. Look, what the fuck was that? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It seriously is. It's like they know that they have to put the least amount of effort possible,
Yeah.
and people will still buy this, no problem. It's Look, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say this: the amount of
Look how glitchy it is.
it's ridiculously glitchy, and people defend this bullshit and keep buying and pre-ordering this crap, and it's just fucking ridiculous. And they don't give a shit. Like, they know that they can put the least amount of effort into this, and people will still pay and give them millions for it.
It's weird. I've never thought this about any other Pokemon games I've seen, but it just also looks like an ugly game in terms of like art design, like the UI and everything. It just doesn't. It seems really rushed.
If it wasn't a Pokemon game, it'd be an asset flip.
Like compared to
kinda
like Arceus or,
No, it's
or
not
whatever.
that bad. It's not that bad.
Compared
It
to
is that bad.
Arceus and stuff
It's
like
not
that,
that
like the UI doesn't look like there's just stuff about it just doesn't. It looks like a game that just was way too early, in my opinion. But I haven't played it. I can't judge.
Well, yeah,
it on
because
gameplay.
when did Arceus came out?
Came out
This
this
year.
year.
This year,
Yeah,
January.
exactly. Like, they just
Oh,
fucking
no,
rushed
not
this
the,
bad boy
not the
out
eating the
straight away.
sandwich. Have you seen the eating the sandwich where
Yeah,
it's just
I
like the
have.
JPEG goes in the side of the head? Anyway.
But
Look at this
the weirdest thing is, to me, this looks worse than
It's
some
awesome.
of the previous titles in the series.
Look at this
oh
shit.
my god, this is just fucking hell.
Look, the Switch. One thing is the Switch is really showing its age now. Like I said this on the show last week. I have to really check every game that I buy outside of first-party Nintendo games, and I don't classify this as technically a first-party. Look at this, it's awesome.
But it should be classified as that, man. Given the amount of money that they have and
Pokemon
access to
company.
people to do this,
Look-
this should be classified as like this. This should set the standard in what the Switch can do.
Honestly,
not
like
be one of the shittest looking games on the Switch.
I'm a business person. I would not change anything of how I run. Game
exactly?
Freak,
Why
right?
would you? Because you're still gonna make bazillions of dollars.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
that's why I
you'd be
think
dumb to.
like people get
People are
really
idiots.
obsessed about this, but just vote with your wallet, right? But the problem is you bought
People do vote
Arceus.
with your-
You bought Arceus.
And then I returned it.
doesn't matter. From them, it's a sale.
Exactly.
So-
I'm the ultimate idiot that I went and bought a game that I knew was going to be absolute trash, and serves me right.
I don't
mean,
know, Swinny. We might need a title change. I know you, this might be the first time in Big Week history we've changed the title because I am the ultimate idiot is a great title.
Thank you for coming back to the show after your break, Mike.
You're welcome.
Look, like I don't think it's gonna hurt the show. I know. Sorry, hurt the show. I don't think it's gonna hurt Pokemon. Like
Of course it won't. It will
it's
not
been
hurt Pokemon
glitchy as shit.
whatsoever.
Like
yeah.
always. Like look at this shit. Look at this shitty GIF JPEG
Not
kind
hurt
of fucking
oh
thing
my
that they got.
God.
It's incredible. It's so awesome. I reckon it's amazing.
No, it's amazing what people can get away with nowadays with and still make millions. It's absolutely fucking amazing.
But it's not millions, it's billions. That's
It's
the
billions,
thing.
sorry. It's absolutely billions.
actually make billions
I think
per year.
This is what ultimately shits me is that there's a lot of people out there creating amazing stuff, putting in a lot of hard effort
Like
into doing
Pentiment.
stuff,
No one will
and
play
they get
it.
nothing. They get nothing for it. And then there's people who do a half-assed job, so executives can line their pockets with more money. And
That
I
would
think
be
it's
me.
fucking disgusting. It
That'd be
really
me.
is.
I'd be like,
and I fuck.
let's keep
Well,
going,
I'm not
boys.
gonna have a go at you, but I just think it's fucking disgusting. You know what else is disgusting? I drove past Sunshine Hospital the other day. And
Whoa,
you know,
whoa, we're
well,
really
let me
getting
tell
to
you.
the doxing
Let me-
territory now.
No, it's not, because I can drive anywhere around Melbourne. Doesn't matter. Everyone knows I live in Melbourne. Anyway, I'm driving past, and now they built a new Sunshine private hospital.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a fucking communist. You guys know that. I'm not a communist.
You're from a
However,
communist
the
country.
fact that we live in a society where you have the words private hospital
Yeah.
planted is disgusting.
You have to pay to get in.
The
makes sense.
notion that you divide people and you give healthcare to people depending on how much money they earn is absolute utter fucking trash. It should not exist in society. It shouldn't.
Can
Anyway,
we-
that's ungame related. We should be talking about that, but it
Mike,
angers me that shit like that exists.
Can we create a separate podcast where we talk? We'll create like VTuber things. So we'll be just anime characters. So we'll hide our identity to a
Okay.
small degree, and we'll just go on about politics.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
That's where we definitely can't use our faces.
Well, I will put my face on the fact that I think it's atrocious that divide in society
My face on the
exists between public healthcare that is actually kind of pretty shit to begin with, and we have been to Sunshine Hospital before. Again, not to dox
I don't know.
ourselves because
I've never
it's
heard of this place.
It's a common
Sunshine,
thing,
before.
and the waiting times and everything are ridiculous. But the very fact that there is now a distinction between do you have money, do you not have money, will you be treated, and will you be taken care of or not?
Fuck is this on?
It's like, it's ridiculous.
It's just
Anyway,
a
So
juxtaposition.
what
That's
you
why I
what you-
rant.
so what you're saying, Mike? Pokemon, the new Pokemon is just a euphemism for private versus public healthcare.
Basically, it's a euphemism for
Damn those
lining the pockets of executives.
Damn those private pokey centers.
Damn them. The private pokey centers, yeah.
Anything else you guys want to chat about?
No, I'm just
I didn't
looking
have
forward
much,
to the
I didn't
next
have much.
segment.
All right. Well, the next segment is a special surprise that I have prepared that you guys have no idea what it is. So
I'm still waiting for a link.
I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link.
Okay.
I've got a bit of stuff written up, so I might sound a bit more, robotic than I normally do.
Hello.
Well,
Hello, my name is Swinny.
Since I'm the senior editor and current host of the show, I'm going to do things a bit differently.
Okay.
For those that don't know, behind the scenes, we prepare everything, with a run sheet, contains everything. But, I'm going to change it up. So this week I received a special message from a special someone. And, integot, I'm giving you a link right now.
I've been waiting for
I don't get a link?
It's in there, Mike, but you wait till he brings it up.
Okay.
So this is a link from a special someone that is very near and dear to the show.
Can I play this? Or am I going to get in trouble?
No, that's fine.
This is awesome.
Yes.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
So the video comment, so for
cool.
anyone not watching the video version, is I was once a child. I completed a game. And
He's even got the big wig. Yeah, I was going to go, how do I know it's real?
The hosts of a popular children's program didn't believe me. I don't know why it's a children's program. So
How
he
could
had
we not
to make
believe him?
a
This is
video
awesome.
showing. And
is awesome.
for anyone that can't watch the video version, it is a friend of the show and a big super fan, Joe Jives, completing the NES version of Battletoads after we said that he could, basically.
I said.
Well, we
I
both
believed him.
doubted his story that he beat this game as a kid. So, Joe...
Well, hang on. We can still doubt that he did it as a kid. Just because he did it now doesn't mean he did it as a kid. I'm just saying.
Mike, that's not the point of this, and I'll get to that now. Okay. So,
Okay.
basically...
That is a funny line, though, Mike.
We put a challenge out to Joe after that to say that he should go and beat Battletoads. And after watching this 42-minute playthrough myself,
Wow.
I can now say that I believe Joe Jives is an absolute legend.
I gotta
good.
tip my hat. This is so funny because I was also stipulating. I want to see his hands. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to see. I want to be able to do a Carl Jobst on him.
There's even an
Do they match? Yeah, they do.
No,
there's
he's got the logo on the controller.
but
No,
he's
I mean,
even-
yeah.
he's got the input reading things at the bottom
On the
left.
bottom
of
left, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'll give a bit of context. Joe provided all this information. So it is on an emulator. He actually bought.
That's okay,
You can
that's
you
okay.
can see there's a copy of Battletoads there, but he actually So he did it on an emulator using the 8-bit
This is amazing.
8BitDo Pro 2 controller, not an original NES controller, but he tried to, as much as possible, accurately set everything up so that it
and
was as
which Joe
close
is
to
the
console
most
as-
perfectionist out of all of us. that we know.
100% he is.
I'll say it right now. I integot believe in Joe. I believe in Joe. I believe that he beat it. I think it's funny what Mike said to the fact that Joe beat Battletoads. I would never be able to beat Battletoads, right? But then he goes,
As a kid or as an adult?
No, but the fact that Mike then puts in the doubt of going, but you still might not have beat it as a kid. It's so fucked up. Mike is in a mood today.
He even went to the awesome extent, the awesome extent of having the split speedrun splits on the side.
I know,
as well,
it's
which
awesome.
Is so
It's
cool.
so cool.
But yeah, his objective was to clock Battletoads in a single playthrough. So the in-game
He's even got
warps
the
and
time.
continues
He's even
to
got the
find.
time on there in his feed.
And basically, he said in what he wrote to me that it's not the best run. Like he struggles a bit in the last stage and in Klinger Ringer, which is the second last. I think it's second last stage, which is an absolute bastard of a level. But it's it's awesome that he put lots of details also in the comment section of the video. The video is currently unlisted because he wanted to be a bit of a surprise. But he detailed all the stuff there.
That's awesome.
And it's the USA version of Battletoads as well, because the PAL version is slower. It's like 50
well, technicality. What if you paid played the PAL
No,
version.
but
when
that
he
makes
was
it
a
more likely
kid.
that he'd be able to beat it because it's slower.
I know. I'm just being an idiot.
So
This
he's
is
actually
amazing.
beaten the harder
This
one.
is amazing,
This
Joe.
honestly, to me, is like a top 5 moment of the show. This is
It is
awesome.
really
This is
cool.
like very cool.
I told you you'd like this.
I'm actually gonna watch the whole thing. Oh, what is it?
Yeah,
yeah.
I want to.
I would love to actually do a watch along.
Yeah, can
but
we
it's
do
up to
that?
you.
Yeah.
Can we get
I'll
Joe on the
watch
show and watch it all together?
see,
And get
we'll
him
see.
to
I
commentate?
will visit him and I will see this live.
This is incredible.
This is really cool.
This is very cool. We don't have the chat on this screen, but this is very cool. This is.
Well,
very
Joe was in the chat
Well,
earlier.
he
I
was in
know,
the
so-
chat.
I don't know if
earlier.
he's
I don't know if
posted
still-
anything on the chat. Maybe I don't know.
He said hello.
This
but he
is
hasn't
very
said
cool.
anything.
Okay, Swinny, yes, you've redeemed yourself.
Redeemed himself.
I don't know. I just wanted to put that into his head.
Now I'll be going to sleep thinking, what is he talking
What did I
about?
do? Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. We totally should watch this with him. I want to hear like what parts are hard. and
Yeah,
everything like that.
yeah,
Man,
yeah. I want
the
some
the last
director's
level.
commentary.
Like I've played all the Battletoads levels except the last level, but I was playing it with like all the modern bullshit, like rewind stuff, and I couldn't beat the second to last level because it's just fucking hard.
With save states and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
rewind shit, man.
But the last level, which I never played, is such an absolute bastard, and the fact that he got through it, man, is super.
This is insane. So he's gotten through this all like with one life or something.
No. So he cleared. That's what I said. Like his objective was to clock it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it continues.
He's
if
clocked
he's,
it.
Yeah, he's clocked it. You know. So
I gotta say, I
could
believe
never,
him
I
now.
could never beat this game legit. Like, it's
I
been
will say,
amazing.
like, I'm actually being genuine. I did not believe him. Right. I know it sounds like I was memeing and stuff like that.
I actually did.
I actually didn't believe him, right? And by the way, like just to be super clear, it's not that I think he's a liar. I just like I think he was like misremembering it or something like that, right? But now I do believe it. Now I do
Joe's a
believe it.
pretty genuine guy.
This is also the official Joe Jives hand reveal stream. So
It is.
True,
What
yeah.
nice hands they
Can
are.
we just have him as hands when he explains stuff?
It's just
For his
hands on
camera.
a controller.
Let's try to arrange that.
That
We'll
would
do
be
a watch
hilarious.
along. We'll do a watch along and then just the hands. That's all it is.
You
This
could
is
like
incredible.
make faces with the hands. Or put hey, Mike, give him some googly eyes.
Yeah.
Because
Like
like
all those different sizes.
we've never actually had this as a topic of like maybe because I'm wrapping up at the end of the year with the show, right? But maybe like we need to have the topic at some stage. Who do we think is the best gamer of the three of us, and then also like plus Joe, right?
I reckon Joe could probably
It's an
play the
interesting
Dark Souls
question.
games if he
It's
got
an
into
interesting
it and be
question.
really good at them.
I
Yeah.
like it as a question.
He just
I like
doesn't
it
play
as a
them,
question.
but yeah.
Because there was one time where Joe and I were playing Trials to death, and we were just playing the first level over and over again. We both would have played it for like
And the
10,
ski
20
jump.
hours. Just that one level, right? And we got into like the top, I think it was the top 20 in the world. And there was like a million records.
Yeah.
Like a million people had played it, and we were both in the top 20 or something. Just because we were competing, and he still beat me, and I could never beat it. Like I actually was like, "Holy shit, I can't beat this motherfucker." I was like, "How the hell's he beating me on this thing?" Like it's incredible. So no, this is awesome, man. I want to watch this, but it'd be more fun if we watch it with Joe.
All right,
cool,
well,
man. Very cool.
That's it for the special surprise.
Very good.
Joe,
That's amazing.
thank
That's top
you,
5 moment.
Swinny,
Top 5
for-
moment of
for
the show.
segment. That was really, really cool.
And
well
yes,
done,
thank
Joe.
you, Joe, for providing all that information and
That
the
was
video.
cool. That was cool.
So for next week, we might not.
Oh, I forgot
do
to put the
prediction-
thing. Oh, let's do it again.
I've got another surprise.
Just
now
delete
we gotta
it,
watch
just
the whole
delete
thing,
it.
though. Put the whole thing back on.
Yeah, delete it. Delete the whole thing. It doesn't count. Actually, I don't believe him again.
We won't do the nominee predictions then for Game Awards next week. We'll do it on the 4th, I think it is.
Yeah, the week leading up to it.
The week leading in.
So I'm taking the day off that day. So are you?
Yeah,
Swinny?
I have that day off.
And Mike's not.
No,
I just want him to say no.
Wait, which day is it again?
he doesn't know
It's
what
a
we're
Friday.
talking about. Just
Game
talking
Awards.
about
To watch the Game Awards.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, maybe I'll take it off. Maybe I'll take it off to shoot myself instead of
This
watching
is the
that
heel
shit.
turn.
No, you
You
know
don't
what
want to
he'll
spend time with your
do?
mates.
He'll know what he'll fucking do. He does this all the time. He won't come to the reaction, but then he'll jump in the chat to say something to us or hello. And it's like, motherfucker, where are you? You're not
Jumping
here,
out.
but you're in the chat. Ah, whatever.
This is the
You-
9th,
you
right?
do you.
It's
You
the
do
9th
you.
for us.
Yes, it is the 9th.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I look like a nun.
Anything else you guys have planned for the next week in gaming or any releases or anything like that?
What is coming out in the next
Callisto
week?
Protocol's coming out soon, Mike.
It is, but
Seems good.
okay. So
Seems
before
good
we
so far.
this is my problem now. So before we started the show, I was explaining to the guys that I watched this TED talk about the Swedish guy who.
Please don't go on about this.
I'm not gonna go on the whole thing, but I'll
Can
very
we?
briefly
Okay,
explain
Mike.
what he
would
did.
you be up to do a political and random podcast? And we're VTubers, so we can't ever get like cancelled
Okay, sure.
because we just
I think
deny
it'd be
that it's
funny.
our
It'll be
voices.
entertaining.
All right.
Anyway, so I'll very, very quickly paraphrase what this guy said, and he said he stopped buying stuff for a year, and he had 2 rules.
Yeah.
Don't die, which means he had to buy
No
stuff
fap.
like food, obviously. No, I'm sure he fapped as well. And don't stink. So that's it. Like he only spent money on things that were absolute necessities in that sense, and he didn't do it just to be a jerk. He wasn't saving money even, because he spent all the money on services and stuff instead in the local community, that kind of stuff. So what is that? So anyway, so now my problem is, man, if I'm going to do this challenge for a year, I can't buy Callisto Protocol. However,
He's actually drinking. We're totally gonna get banned because you're drinking alcohol. And
I don't think he actually
we've
was.
said pipe bomb. We said heroin.
No, I wouldn't. I would for a
Dildo.
bit.
I
I
would
wouldn't
drink
know.
alcohol and
I wouldn't
dildos,
open
too.
my Moxie's
We had a butt
Valentine
plug.
Scotch whiskey just for a bit. So.
This is a really weird butt plug, but it works.
All right, so Mike, your point is you don't want to buy stuff, so you don't want to buy Callisto Protocol.
Well, I can't now because it counts as buying then. So unless someone gifts it to me, hint, hint.
Hey, whoa. This is where you're an absolute fucking hypocrite, right? So for me, I've been clocking more games than I've bought, right? Then
Yeah.
you, motherfucker, hypocrite,
Yeah.
the ultimate
Yeah.
idiot, the ultimate
Yeah.
idiot,
Yeah.
said, no, that's cheating if other people buy you a game and you beat it. You said that.
No, but it doesn't count as. No, but it's not cheating in this case.
Because it's you, because that's what you want.
No, it's because it doesn't. I can't buy those things. I will. Okay, let me put it this way.
It's not about buying, it's the rejection of the materiality of
I'll tell you
using
how
things.
this works, right? I'm happy to do services, right?
You
So,
can only
like,
receive.
I'm happy to suck your dick if you give me a copy of the game, because that is a service.
I'm glad this is the last few minutes of the show.
It's being provided, right? And
This
if
is
you're
how the
providing
show's
that
going down in
service
flames.
as part of the local community, I think that's fine. That's the loophole that I can
Far
use.
out.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing that, Mike.
you're welcome.
Noted.
So my question was, well, I guess it boiled down to you. So you're not getting Callisto Protocol.
Unless someone gets it to me or my
No.
girlfriend
Okay,
happens to, which
no,
I
all
highly
right,
doubt.
all right. I will.
Unfortunately,
I
probably
hope
not.
it's a fucking 10 out of 10 game. I hope it comes out and they go,
I know
it's
it
the
will be
greatest
good. Damn
game. It's exceeded Dead Space, and you'll buy it.
I
And I'll
am
break my
possibly.
streak.
I'm possibly looking at playing 2 older games next week. Actually, playing through Scarlet Nexus, the Bandai Namco RPG.
check that one
That
out.
I have a feeling that's going to start dropping off Game Pass in the next month and a bit. So I might get onto it. And I mentioned this the other week to Integot that I've been watching a lot of Mass Effect related stuff this in recent weeks. So I might jump back into the Legendary Edition and do, Mike, you'll appreciate the craziness of this. Do the triple insanity run through of all 3 games in a row. So not
Okay.
doing like New Game Plus or anything, just like insanity from start to finish all 3. So it's
And as
going to
we
be
said,
fun.
it actually is in some ways. And I remember there were some parts that I'm like, man, this is ridiculous.
Number 2 is so tough, but it's going to
but
be
it's
fun,
worth
so.
it because the experience is really good.
Infiltrator for the win.
That's the way to do it.
Yes. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I think that's the end of the show for the week. And thanks everyone for joining. And until next time, catch us later.
Infiltrate you later.
Bye-bye.